These days, science and research work in Japan are receiving high esteem from around the world, thanks in part to a number of Japanese scientists winning the Nobel Prize. Meanwhile, scientists are paying a different kind of attention to a case of disciplinary action taken by the University of Tsukuba in 2008. It is a punitive dismissal of a professor. What were the issues behind it? At the Royal Garden Party held this spring, two figures caught the most attention. Dr. Masukawa and Dr. Kobayashi, the two Nobel laureates in physics in 2008. These physicists' brilliant achievement has drawn so much attention that a scientific journal in the US even published a feature article entitled "Assembling International Science in Japan." It was little known, on the other hand, that a protest letter to the University of Tsukuba from scientists in the world was carried in the very same issue of the journal. As titled, "Scientist Protest, Professor's Dismissal." The origin of this affair was Professor Teruji Cho's punitive dismissal from his position as head of the Plasma Research Center of the University of Tsukuba in March in 2008. The university claimed that they found data falsification in the scientific paper published by Professor Cho. This is the home of Dr. Cho, who lost the professorship. Since then, for the past 1.5 years, his wife has been supporting the family through a part-time job. There was no severance allowance paid, though he had worked for the university for 25 years. Dr. Cho says, "I really don't understand what's wrong and what on earth has caused all this. So mysterious. I'm completely puzzled." Dr. Cho consistently insisted that there had been no misconduct. In March 2008, however, the university announced that it had punitively dismissed Professor Cho due to the data falsification, which was found in the scrutiny that the university had conducted in response to a student accusation. This announcement was widely reported in Japan. Dr. Cho's wife says, "How could it happen? My husband has been treated as if he were a criminal. I thought people would feel like there might have been something wrong with him based on the news report. That was extremely vexing." What did the University of Tsukuba really view as a problem with Professor Cho's paper? We came to New Jersey in the United States, where Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory is located. It was jointly established by the US federal government and Princeton University. As we proceeded to the basement, a huge apparatus about the same size as Tsukuba's appeared in our sight. It's normally off-limits to visitors. We are lucky to be able to get inside today because the facility is not operating right now due to maintenance works. This is one of the largest plasma facilities in the world. The inside of this gigantic chamber is shaped like a donut. There, it generates plasma, in which the temperature reaches more than 100 million degrees. Plasma consists of charged particles. Aurora and lightning are good examples. It is also utilized for plasma displays. As a matter of fact, the Sun, unlike the Earth, is not solid, but gaseous plasma consisting of charged particles. Research projects with huge budgets have been carried out in various countries in the world to generate massive energy equivalent to creating a mini-sun. The ultimate goal is to develop novel energy sources for the future. The purpose is to replace soon-to-be depleted fossil fuels such as oil and coal. There has been a key technical challenge for this plasma research. That is, to suppress anomalous plasma flow, namely turbulence, induced by the extraordinary temperature difference between inside and outside the chamber. Professor Fisher, Princeton University, says the University of Tsukuba has no understanding of the historical context and the scientific significance of the finding in Professor Cho's paper. It would have led to a great progress in the field. This is the experimental apparatus at Plasma Research Center of the University of Tsukuba. Professor Cho's paper was epoch-making in that it showed this turbulence can be suppressed by heating specific positions with microwaves. These images clearly illustrate turbulence reduction by comparing it before and after the heating. Dr. Cho's paper was published in the journal Physical Review Letters, PRL, one of the most authoritative scientific journals in the field of physics. Dr. Kalp, editorial director for PRL, says we only publish papers which passed strict screening in terms of importance of the research and merits for publication. It is a great honor for a scientist to have his paper published in this journal once in a lifetime. Professor Cho et al.'s papers were published in PRL in 2005 and again in 2006. If it had not been for this incident, he intended to make a try for the third consecutive year appearance, which would be a phenomenal achievement. However, the research was forced to be suspended. We still believe that his paper is physically correct and merits publication. The University of Tsukuba argued that there was a problem in this highly evaluated paper. The problem did not lie in the content of the paper, but the two figures used in the paper were based on the falsified data, they said. The university invited outside experts to form an investigation team, and they asked Dr. Cho's team to reproduce 100% identical figures to the original. They asked me to respond in about 2 weeks. I looked into various related records and found, to my surprise, that the results of the data analysis I had conducted by that time were nowhere to be seen. Strangely enough, the analyzed data along with information on the analysis time had vanished away. Professor Teruji Cho was dismissed by the University of Tsukuba, which said he falsified the data to write a paper. It was a punitive dismissal. In the process of the investigation, the university asked Dr. Cho to reproduce the same figures from the original raw data, but parts of the analysis data necessary for 100% reproduction could not be found. At Plasma Research Center, data were stored in the shared computer. It was a strict rule of the research center that the student in charge of an analysis should have backup disks. These two sets of data, which were supposed to have been carefully managed, have both disappeared. What a mystery! Therefore, Dr. Cho took pains to recreate the figures by starting the analysis from scratch, but the figures thus reproduced were slightly different from the original. If one looks very closely, there is a very slight difference around here, like 0.4%, but it is definitely a meaningless variance and virtually the same. He also submitted a very detailed explanation in writing to the university about the analysis method used for the other figure, but the university didn't change its position. In the end, we couldn't tell where and how they think we were not right. They only said that the response could not be acknowledged, and I seriously started to feel danger, and I thought I had to ask researchers around the world about this. Dr. Cho submitted a new paper to another scientific journal, Physics of Plasma, POP. This paper included the same content as the document he had submitted to the university, which explained in detail the analysis methods for the two figures in question. He intended to invite judgment for the world research community.